Well, welcome everyone to this special Anzac Day edition of The Week in Real Estate, where I can share with you straight off the bat that AMP Capital Chief Economist Shane Oliver said, well, the federal government's economic rescue package of $200 billion and the mortgage repayment holidays offered by the banks, it will prevent property price falls over the next 6 months. Absolutely fantastic news there. Now, another important fact is that most households are ahead on their mortgage repayments. Now, that is a big factor in preventing distressed sales. And CoreLogic's research director, Tim Lawless, well, he said that the property market is being insulated by these measures from a downturn over the next 6 months. Now, he also said that it helps that most Australian housing markets were in an upswing phase of the cycle before the virus had hit. And that disruption, well, he reckons it's only going to be somewhat temporary. Now, in addition, Robert Mellor, Executive Chairman of BIS Oxford Economics, said that the current record low interest rates, it would certainly provide some cushion to homeowners, at least in the near term. And he went on to say that interest rates are set to stay low, well, for at least the next 2 years, so loan repayments will stay low. Wonderful news there, I would have thought. Now, there's no surprise here that post-COVID, we are going to see some big-time celebrations. Yes, you bet. Australians plan to spend their money on food, entertainment and holidays when the lockdown restrictions are lifted. In fact, I've had people say it's going to be a bigger celebration, just like the end of the Second World War. Results from surveys run by CIT Group, now they are formerly Crosby Textor, show Australians plan to direct their money to spending time with family and friends after the pandemic is over. Now, asked what they intended to spend on, well, other than necessities, once the virus had passed, 44% of those surveyed Aussies said that they were going to visit restaurants and cafes. I'm all for that. 42% planned to book domestic holidays, 22% were looking at international holidays, and 23%, well, they were going to spend it on out of home entertainment such as cinema and theatre tickets. Now, not surprising, we are seeing many first home buyers who've got secure jobs, who've spent months on the search for a property, who missed out at auctions during the recent market rebound. Well, they are redoubling their efforts to find quality homes. According to auctioneer Thomas McGlynn, entry-level buyers and their young families, they have been the most active. Now, President of the Real Estate Buyers Agents Association of Australia, Kate Backos, well, she said that young buyers who are confident in their jobs are taking advantage of the high government assistance for first home buyers. In fact, foreign first home buyer inquiries in Canberra, they actually rose 56% in March, this compared to the same time last year, according to realestate.com.au. Apartment sales, I don't talk a lot about that, but Harry Triggerboff, Managing Director of high-rise development company Meriton, says that apartment sales for him are still substantial, although his rental income from his portfolio of residential units has fallen. Triggerboff, Australia's most prolific developer of apartments, says Asian investors in particular are still buying his apartments. And finally this week, news in that construction companies could hire thousands of people over the next few months if the Commonwealth brought forward its 10-year, $100 million infrastructure program, says Civil Contractors Federation Chief Executive Chris Melham. A new survey of the CCF's member companies in every state and territory found that 65% of the 228 companies that responded would be very likely to hire additional people if the government increased funding for new civil infrastructure projects. In fact, most companies said they had sufficient capacity to render for projects, or rather to tender, I should say, for projects up to $10 million, while 17% had capacity to tender for projects up to $50 million. So that's my wrap for this week, folks. A very, very special weekend being today, Anzac Day. Lest we forget, Bit of a shame we can't get to our local marches and to support people, but we're thinking of you guys and widows, of course. So this is Phil Robison of Philip Robison Property saying bye for now and have a great weekend.